Hey there, it's MAC AYRES, and you're listening in time.
Guys, welcome back.
All right.
We've been laughing for about 10 minutes already, and we've not even started. We've got the wonderful MAC AYRES here today. I can't even compose myself, but mate, thank you so much for joining us. We've been buzzing for this all week. It's a class one. How are you doing?
Appreciate you guys for having me. Man, I can't complain. It's good to meet you guys. It's good to be here.
Yeah, awesome, man. You know what? Let's go from the start. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, we were just talking about you doing like apartment hunting. How's that been going all day today?
Yeah, I mean, New York it's crazy out there, and like I was saying, I don't really thrive in the high pressure, non-musical situations. So,
Yeah.
Just trying to find a place that my girlfriend and I really like, and not trying to rush it too much,
Yeah.
It's a
I think
process.
I had some maybe not so much similar issues, but I was very picky when I was looking for places to rent. It's just like, well, I don't
Yeah.
want to share with like more than one person, and even then, I want my own facility because I don't want to talk to that person even when I am there. So,
Yeah,
like,
I feel that. I have
like
very
facilitate those
specific
needs.
things.
Yeah.
You got to get everything that you really want in a place. So
Yeah.
I feel that it's annoying. It's been an annoying time.
Definitely. I mean, yeah. Well, I cut up Joe a second ago, but yeah. How'd you get into music? Everything. We'll start from the beginning.
Man, I had always, like, I remember, as a very young kid growing up and watching Sesame Street and other various musical kids shows, but I think I never thought about it as a career until around like first and second grade. I was a big American Idol fan.
Oh shit!
Wow.
So I remember in second grade, it was the Fantasia season, and I just remember being so blown away by the way that she sang. And I just had, from then on, I always used to say I wanted to be the next American Idol, but I think I had at least known that I wanted to do something on stage. I'd say that was probably the first time.
Yeah, and then I guess it's sort of you just carried it through, like going through school and all of that. Just
Yeah, I
keeping
think
going.
I got older and my taste changed. I fell out of American Idol fandom, and
Oh no.
in about I'd say like sixth or seventh grade is when I discovered Stevie Wonder, who
Yeah,
was
man.
my everything, in as far as everything I want to be as a musician is all, he's the pioneer to that. And that's when I started playing piano, which is my first instrument other than voice. And then, yeah, I think just learning new kinds of music and wanting to emulate it led me to other instruments, and just been stacking on top of each other.
Music discovery is so weird how it's changed in like the last 10-15 years. So like, when you're in school, you probably discovered an artist completely different to how, like, if it just comes up on your Spotify radio or a random playlist now. Like, how did you get into Stevie then? Was it a family member?
It was actually a voice teacher I had. I was taking voice lessons, maybe like, I'd say this was around like fourth or fifth grade, because in New York, we have like this something through the schools called NISMA, and like you prepare a piece and you go, and anybody on any instrument can do it. And I was doing it for singing. And so I would go to this guy in my hometown, a guy named Jimmy, and he had also started, he knew I wanted to play keys a little bit, so he was teaching me a couple chords and stuff. And he was really the first guy to be like, oh, who's like a really cool guy who sings and plays keyboard is this guy, Stevie Wonder. And I was like, I was like 10. I was like, I don't fucking know who that is. And yeah, I think that something about Stevie that really stood out to me, aside from other artists at the time, like when I was learning to play keys, I was like listening to the radio and like just trying to plunk out the chords like that. And most of the time I feel like I could do it pretty well. But I remember as a middle schooler hearing the chords that Stevie was using and just being so frustrated. Like, what is that? I have to know. Like, what is this man fucking playing right now? And that, you know, started my dive into, you know, my obsession for his chords and songwriting and all that shit. Like,
Yeah, for sure, man.
so I'd say, yeah, it was Jimmy.
Yeah, that's sick. I mean, I really do want to talk about more about harmony in just a sec, but before that, I wanted to pick up on something that you said beforehand. It sounded like you got into it pretty young. I mean, personally, um, I remember going to college for music, but before that, I was kind of more of one of the sporty ones at school. I played
Yeah.
a lot of football, did a lot of athletics. I remember when I told everyone that I was going to music school, how much of a shock it was, and it was, you know, kind of a bit judgmental almost. I felt a bit
Oh,
embarrassed,
yeah.
a bit embarrassed about it. Did you have any setbacks like that, or was everyone pretty supportive from the start?
Absolutely. I mean, I played sports growing
Yeah.
up. I was a big baseball player, and funny enough, just a quick story. I was in my senior year of high school. I was playing on our varsity team, and we had gone pretty deep into the playoffs, where we were playing at this like nice stadium. They were announcing our names, and for the seniors, they were announcing where you were going to college. And so I had to get up there, and they had to be like, and now batting, going to Berklee College of Music. I was like, the only time that I was just like, oh my God, that's horrible. I have to like go bat now. Everyone thinks I'm the fucking music kid. But yeah, I mean, I think growing up, you could probably attest to this, like in a sports environment, you know, they don't think music is anything. Like
Yeah.
I had plenty of coaches, you know, call me names and not give me proper playing time just because I was interested in, obviously primarily music, but like just interested in other things outside of sports. Yeah, and I mean, you know, other than that, my family has been incredibly supportive, and
Yeah,
like that's something that I will always be very grateful for, because I would not have been able to do any of this without them. So
yeah, and
that's
I guess then going to Berkeley. I mean, you say that like you had to read out that you were going to Berkeley. I mean, amongst musicians, you know, that's the biggest
That's
flex
sick,
there
yeah,
is.
yeah.
yeah. No, that would have been cool if I was like at like a jazz club, but I was at fucking
Yeah,
I was at a baseball field, and I was just, oh man.
yeah. But I mean, I guess you were saying like struggling with the Stevie Wonder harmony. We've all been there. It's it's the first kind of step into real jazz music and like proper, the really hardcore stuff.
The gateway drug.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I guess, Berkeley is it's just a whole new world of, just
Oh yeah.
learning. I guess that's where, you can completely hone your skills and get the best ear possible. And how was that for you?
You know, I'd say there were a lot of good things and a
Yeah.
lot of not good things, but overall, like, I am very happy with the time that I spent there. I think I learned a lot of things that I had, I guess, like inherently started learning just from playing music.
Mhm.
But they gave me the tools to be able to like sort of talk about it with other people, like put like these like abstract ideas into like words and terms that you could like have other people that you're trying to articulate that to, you know, they could like actually understand what you're talking about. And yeah, I met a bunch of my very good friends still to this day. A couple of my band members I met at Berkeley. My girlfriend I met at Berkeley. Yeah, so I mean, overall, it was definitely, I'm happy with the time that I spent there, but I am also happy that I left when I did.
Yeah.
because I was starting to not be benefiting from the tools that I was getting from there as much, you know.
Yeah, no, I get that, and we've spoken to quite a few people that have been to Berkeley, and they there's a lot of mixed kind of receptions, but it's good what you say. You take what you can get, what you need to get, and once you can proceed, then you might as well do it. Just go for the top, aim for the top.
Exactly. I mean, I had felt like after whatever the 2.5, 3 years I was there, I was just not getting the same joy from like the basic discoveries I was making in my first couple semesters, like where I was learning, just like the terms I was talking about, like just sort of starting to feel like what I was doing was like actually cool, because where I'm from, I'm from a very small village on Long Island, so a lot, people aren't doing the shit that I'm doing.
Yeah, it's hard to find that, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it's hard to find people that are passionate about shit like that, and so for that reason, I'm very happy that I was out there and hanging out for a little bit.
I mean, this is something we spoke to Connor about, actually, and we'll talk a little bit more about Connor a bit later on. But yeah, he's top man.
Boy, Connor.
Was that your British accent?
Oh yeah. I try to get him with that sometimes.
All right, we'll try and hold a full conversation in a British accent in a minute. But I mean, with Connor, we were talking about like theory and stuff like this, and like I know some people go to uni and Berkeley, and they haven't like fully ascertained the theory, but they still like their ear's good enough to be playing along with it. They just never knew the words for it. Was this kind of what it was for you, or did you learn it back with Stevie Wonder stuff?
I'd say definitely that. I mean, I think inherently you learn it, at any point of just like hearing examples of something that you would learn in Berkeley, right? If you heard it, if at least in my case, if I had heard it in 8th grade, then like I feel like I was like, oh, that was weird. That's probably something. And then Berkeley, you're actually able to be like, oh, that was that.
Yeah.
And like it's sort of connected dots for me.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess with that, then is that like, did you kind of go down this journey of trying to like consciously apply it, or was it still like, oh, I'm just gonna sort of play the music the way I play it, and then it sort of naturally fits in, and then you sort of realize
I'd say it's the latter of those two. As far as I think that theory was written based off of shit that sounds good. So like people didn't write theory first, like it was the sonics that came first. So I always tried to stick to that, and I think that inherently, as a theory dork, you can sort of get caught up in your 2/5s and whatnot. But yeah, I'd say that I always tried to just write what felt and sounded good, and then it would inherently have some of those principles that we learn in theory shit or whatever.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I know I've been there myself, where it's like you learn a new concept and it's like, wow, so cool. I'm going to try and apply it to everything I have now. But then it's that's what I went through. But then it's like you come up, it's just shit.
Yeah, it just sounds like shit.
Everything just sounds shit.
Yeah.
And then you come up with something.
Most of the time.
Yeah, man. And then like you're sitting there just chilling one day, and then you write something that just sounds good, and it's like, fuck, that's the best thing I've ever wrote.
A Lydian dominant or something like that. Yeah. Oh, yo, this is how you use it.
Yeah. What the hell?
Right. Exactly.
It's just got to come natural. I think it's just got to come natural, and like you said, just it can just be a language. It's a way to talk to your band members. If you've got new session guys in and you need to teach them a song, it's 1 4 5 6.
Right.
I mean,
and that's the shit that it really like helped me with. But overall, I'd say that like nobody should inherently go into writing a song and be like, I'm gonna modal interchange the fuck out of it. Like,
yeah, exactly. I mean, and unless you're Jacob Collier, of course.
That man can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah, I think
He's
he's
on.
earned his right. Like, and not many people have. I mean, with yourself, then was it always you wanted to be a songwriter? You wanted to be your own artist? Or was it like, I know a lot of people come out saying they want to be a session guitarist, and then eventually they just find themselves becoming an artist themselves.
Yeah, I think in at the very beginning it was I just wanted to be a singer, um, and that changed to me, playing keys a little bit, and then I had wanted to be a musician, I guess.
Yeah.
And then production sort of came into my life. Production and songwriting at the same time sort of came into my life a little later. I was actually at Berkeley already before I had written anything. So, yeah, I think when I started doing that, I had started to think, songwriting is my favorite thing to do above anything else. So I am happy that I went through all those other phases just because it, allowed me to sharpen my tools in those aspects. But I think that for the past, as long as I've been putting music out, the songwriting is really my absolute favorite
Yeah.
thing to do.
And then I guess, yeah, when you have that ultimate goal of like songwriting, you kind of pick up all these soft skills of like production and playing like a little bit of everything as well on the way. I guess
Yeah,
with that, I mean, you've also, I mean, we'll also come on to it a little bit more as well. But you're pretty much like you're like 4 albums deep now, so you must have picked up a lot with songwriting, and it's taken you on a fair bit of a journey.
oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm the type of guy that I'm in the studio every day.
Sick.
I just love the practice. I mean, not necessarily to like be writing for my album, but I'm always shedding or like making a beat for fun.
Yeah.
And I think that just riding the wave of creativity has allowed me to, put out 4 albums in 4 years. Like, I think,
Yeah, that's it.
it's just fun. So like, why wouldn't I?
Yeah, and I'm sure like over those, those 4 years, you've learned so much about songwriting and production. How do you think everything's changed from, your first stuff in like Drive Slow to now? Would you say it's changed that much?
Yeah. I mean, I guess like in a lot of ways, no, but
Yeah,
in a lot of ways,
yeah,
I feel like a different man than I was
yeah.
when I was recording Drive Slow. Um, so I'd say the perspective about songwriting and about the world is definitely different than it was in Drive Slow. But something I always try to keep is, when I was making Drive Slow, I had not officially dropped out, but I had stopped attending classes. I was in Boston and I would just sit at my computer all day. And I just knew that if I wasn't going to go to class and I wasn't going to like take school seriously, I was going to take this extremely seriously. And in doing that, I found so much joy, and there was so much, Drive Slow is really some of my first like production at all. I was making a lot of SoundCloud stuff before that, just sort of to put anything up. But Drive Slow was like really, I was discovering how much I fucking love doing this. Like, just I really love my job, and I take a lot of joy in every part of the process. And Drive Slow always reminds me, no matter what number album it'll be, I'll still be that, that kid that was just like really having a good time doing what he loved and just like getting to do it.
Yeah. I mean, with each of these as well, like, so this is probably, I mean, feel free to like nerd out as well with this. So you said with Drive Slow, you were doing a lot of it off your like laptop and stuff. And I mean, it's
Yeah.
safe to say by now, you're a pretty popular guy, a fair few
Oh,
people know
thank
you.
you.
And there's another Mac that comes to mind, which is Mac DeMarco, but like he does all these like snazzy like recording techniques. Is this something you experimented with each like recording or song, different styles of recording?
To be honest, no. I stay true to my as far as like recording stuff,
Yeah.
the only I mean, I made every album on a laptop.
Sick.
That's
Um,
sick.
and the only upgrade I made, I got an Apollo for Magic 8 Ball. That was you know, I spend most of my budget for recording stuff just on like guitars and shit. I just like different synths, and I like investing in sounds rather than in recording stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I mean, a little bit, I guess. I've upgraded.
No, I think it's actually, funnily enough, we were just talking to a UK producer called Ed Black like a couple of hours ago for another recording, and we were talking about a similar thing with him. You know, he's been putting out a good few records, and he's been getting like millions of streams and everything like that. And he's only same as you, just still been doing it off his laptop, and it's a really positive sign for people that really don't, I mean, it's hard to afford yourself the opportunity to have like a whole snazzy studio and all this fancy
Yeah.
setup. Don't, I mean, evidently you don't necessarily need that, do you?
No, I mean, not at all. I think that, technology, especially music technology, has come so far in my lifetime that, you know, like you said, I do it in my bedroom. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think that we have all the tools to be able to record things at high quality and obviously to be able to distribute them. And yeah, no, I stick to what's been working.
I mean, one thing that you did say you do occasionally get new bits of is new hardware. So what sort of stuff is it like? I'm just gonna be really vague here. Like you've got like a Strat and you're like, oh, actually, I really like the tele sound against this record, so I'm gonna try and find the right Telecaster for this, or
Right.
this right
Yeah.
synth.
I mean, I think, a lot of times these days it's like VSTs. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
made the Omnisphere investment maybe like 2 years ago, and that was just like total game changer.
it is a
Just
game changer.
god
Yeah,
level. Yeah, I don't know what I was doing before that, but I got a Prophet last year that I really like. I'm a big fan of like lush pad sort of
yeah.
shit, and the Prophet is the guy for that one. Um, yeah, I think as far as like I was saying, investing in sounds, just because for me, I play if I'm practicing on something and a sound is very compelling to me, that's usually the kickoff of
Yeah.
the process. I usually go like, oh my god, that sound is sick, and then a song exists many hours later.
Hmm.
It's usually how it goes.
I mean, with like discoveries and stuff like that, do you play about much with like sound design? With like I wouldn't say well maybe even like modular synthesis or analog synthesis, but like do you go into that realm?
Definitely not of the very complicated like analog, the joint with all the
Yeah,
wires
with
and
all the
stuff.
wires, they look
I'm
fun
just,
though.
it does look very fun, but I'd like to think I'm like editing my Omnisphere sounds a little bit so that they're
Yeah,
not presets. But I mean, aside from that, no, not too much.
yeah. No, to be honest, I say that, and it's something I've always been interested in. I just watch videos like you put this cable in here and you make a sine wave, and then like they do a bunch of other stuff, and it's just like, all right, now it sounds like a robot talking to you, and like I'm like, oh shit, that's pretty smart, but I don't think I could do that just
Oh
yet.
yeah, no, that shit goes very deep, but I
Oh yeah,
cannot, I can't grasp it.
Yeah, man. I mean, in terms of producing for yourself anyway, obviously that's like it's great to for everyone to hear that they can have have a successful career from their laptop. But at what stage do you feel confident enough to release your own production? Because I know for myself, I've written loads of music and I've tried self-producing, and I've tried learning, and there's something holding me back, and I don't know what I'm looking for. I don't know whether it's a certain thing. I don't know. So what level I'm trying to get to? Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, at what
Yeah,
stage can you be
yeah,
confident with?
absolutely. I mean, I think as vague as it is to say, it is entirely up to you because
Yeah, I guess.
um, I'd say for me, I probably was making stuff for like a year, maybe like a little bit more, before I started actually like putting it out. But a lot of times people like do think that there's something missing in a piece of
Mhm.
music, and maybe you want it to like just be perfect. Like it's not anything, that you shouldn't be thinking, because obviously you want it to sound incredible. But I think a big turning point for me was like when I got an idea out and I felt like it was honest and it was organic. Um, I think that at some point you have to learn to just let that shit fly,
Mhm.
Yeah.
because you could sit with a tune forever and continue to make changes to it and still might not feel that way, that it's ready, in however long. But ultimately at some point, I think, make a lot of beats first. i'm
Mm.
not
Yeah.
i'm not saying put out the first one, but at a certain point, you got to learn to let it go.
Well, funnily enough, I was actually watching Rick Beato's interview with Pat Metheny. I don't know if you've seen that yet, or if
Oh no, I haven't.
no, it's. I mean, I'm a big Pat Metheny fan anyway, so I was just like,
Mhm.
I ended up just having it on in the background. But Pat Metheny said this one pretty interesting thing about like releases and stuff, because he's obviously done like loads. But it was something along the lines of, like if this was going to be, let's. I mean, this sounds really dark, but like if it was like a Jeff Buckley case where this was going to be your last release, you want it to be like your best bit of work, don't you? So like you want it, it's what you
Yeah,
want to be remembered for. Um,
right.
but like, and so I think when he sort of says that, like, to take each record or reach each song with that approach, it's
Yeah.
like you end up getting a lot of mileage out of it, I guess.
Definitely.
I mean, that's pretty dark analogy, I'm not gonna lie, but like no one's gonna die after releasing their first album. Yeah, but I mean, R.I.P. Jeff, of course.
Legend.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk a bit about something else as well. You said just before we started that you managed to catch a bit of the Amber podcast, which is really cool for us to hear. One of the things we spoke about to Amber was their Tiny Desk concert, and of course you've it's quite not too recently, but it was in the last year or so, wasn't it, that you did
Yeah, it
yours?
was end of 2020, I
Yeah,
think
and
December.
you did the home concert, obviously due to COVID and stuff. How did you find the whole experience?
I mean, I would have definitely liked to have gone to the Tiny Desk,
Yeah,
but for what it was, for the platform that they gave me to just be able to make something, I was sitting right here. Um,
classic.
just I was very grateful for them, and it's always been a bucket list thing
Yeah,
to do Tiny Desk, and I'll be ready for the real thing when
yeah,
that time is. But it was
100%.
a great time. It was a great experience doing it this way too.
Yeah, they're sick, aren't they? They're so good.
Oh yeah, thank you, Brian.
I love the Tiny Desk gigs, man. But yeah,
They're so
Something
fun.
about them, innit?
Yeah.
I don't know what. Like, do you guys get like a secret brief? Like, because every Tiny Desk gig is just amazing, and everyone loves watching them. But like, you don't even have to be that into the artist, and it's like, you'll watch a Tiny Desk gig of it. I bet they put something
Oh
in.
yeah. I love that. I mean, it also just gives you a different, I mean, you can't hide behind any studio
yeah,
Yeah,
tricks. You gotta, I was definitely, even in a rap context, like there's a lot of guys that just like you could tell by the people in their band, like just sort of get a sense for their musicality, and I love them. I mean, I've been watching them for years.
yeah,
it's great. It's a great opportunity as well because they have a lot of smaller bands on there as well, don't they?
Yeah, definitely.
It's really cool.
They
Like,
put me on a lot of people.
yeah, yeah, it's awesome. They should do something. I wish they did something like that in the UK because there isn't really one, is
Whoa,
there?
well, what about us?
I guess we could.
Yeah, maybe we should do
We
something.
could start.
Yeah, to be fair, we have wanted to
You
do
guys
something
have
like
paved the way.
that. But I mean, something we actually touched base on earlier, and we're gonna come to it now. Is I mean, you first of all, it was a sick collab as well, but you put out a song with Connor Albert,
Moonlight.
our pal, Moonlight, which has like such a good hook, by the way. It's so catchy. I mean, I'm not gonna sing it here, but
Yeah, no, that I give credit to Connor because that was the guitar line when he sent it to me. I knew exactly what time it was when I heard that bit.
yeah,
I knew it had to fit in. It's such a pleasure working with him because I'm obviously a big fan, but it's really refreshing to meet people in our industry that actually, want to serve the music first. And a lot of
Yeah.
times it's just, people are worried about the other shit. But Connor is really, I mean, just young, and like I'm very excited to see where he goes.
He's gonna go
He's really
places.
good.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And actually, it was the other way around to start with, wasn't it? In your Magic 8 Ball record, was it Sunny in
Yeah.
'62 he featured on, or was it
It's
another track?
Nothing Else.
Nothing else. Yeah,
He made the beat for Nothing Else,
yeah,
track 3.
yeah. And I
Yeah,
mean, that's where it
he
must have been
was
where it
just,
started. So was it
yeah,
through
yeah.
socials as well?
What'd you say? I'm sorry, I keep
Uh,
cutting you off.
no, it's cool, it's cool. Was it just through like socials as well that you met?
Yeah, that Nothing Else beat I actually found on his TikTok. He
Oh, amazing! Oh wow!
he just, yeah, he came up on my, the For You page, and I was I think it was another beat actually that popped up, but I was just like, oh my god, instantly, never hit follow so fast in my life.
Yeah,
And I hit him up, and I was just like, I was probably like 3 or 4 songs into Magic 8 Ball at that point, and I was looking for, um, just some different vibes for it.
Yeah.
Like it's good to, sometimes just writing over my own beats, you get very boxed in, and you
yeah,
get, you lean on your tendencies and stuff. But yeah, I hit him up and I said I'd love, you to make something, and he just basically said, pick anything that you hear, like if you like any of them, or I'll make something new. And I went through the TikTok, and that the Nothing Else beat just really stood out to me, and I
holy shit,
recorded that thing.
that's sick. So I mean, is that something you're doing more and more these days, like scrolling through TikTok to find like either inspiration or people to work with?
Oh yeah, big time. I mean, I think the thing that is really cool about TikTok to me is, I feel like, I guess you get it on Instagram Reels a little bit, but I feel like I'm exposed to a lot more people that I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at least on
Yeah,
my regular Instagram feed, it's just the people I follow. And I've found a lot of people that I did a collab with this artist named Soli Had. I did a verse on a song of his. I found him on TikTok. I the guy that has recorded strings on a lot of my music. He did the string intro on Smoke, and he was on Brand New on 8 Balls. A friend of mine named Sean. I found him on TikTok. It's just a lot of fucking good musicians out there, and I
yeah.
seem to just be finding them on TikTok
I mean,
exclusively.
it kind of works both ways, doesn't it? I think that's what a lot of people are going with the objective of as well. Put their music out there, hopefully it gets noticed, and seems to be working
Yeah,
quite well.
I mean, yeah, for those people, they caught my attention for sure. And I would hope that that's the case. I would hope that people, are seeking out these great musicians, and it really, it makes me feel proud to be able to work with them, and just sort of like
Hmm.
contribute what I can to their journey.
Yeah. So I mean, you say a lot of the songs you do, you naturally just produce them yourselves. You do a lot of it in house, anyways. So how do you find it
Mhm.
when you start working with someone else, and then like ultimately you want it to still be like, it's your song coming out on your record, and it is also theirs, granted. But how do you find that
Right.
interaction?
I mean, I love it. I think, like I was saying, writing over your own beats gets a little tedious at some point, or just like
Yeah.
repetitive. Uh, and when I am, usually, to be honest, like if another producer, in the case of Magic 8 Ball, 2 of those tunes are produced by 2 friends of mine, Connor being one of them on Nothing Else, and Never Let Me Go was produced by a friend of mine, Cartoons. And in those instances, they made those beats and just sent it to me. Because as far as my writing, I really, especially these days, I prefer to be alone and sort of, at my own speed. And I think that it allows me to, when you're producing your own beats, you're worried about 100 different things. Like, is my side chain chill right now? Like a bunch of stuff that just sort of, at least a little bit, like protrudes the true songwriting process. So when I get a beat from somebody else, it actually like makes me feel like, okay, I can really lock in and like only think about the songwriting times, so I love it. I'm very, especially these days. I think back in the day I was more like, I got to make my own beats, but these days I'm much more into actually just focusing on one thing rather than trying to conquer 100 things.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's sick. I mean, like, it's really good to hear that the collaboration process works so well. Have you got any other plans to collaborate with like some more UK people?
I mean, y'all got some really, really great musicians out there. I talk to Ruben all the time.
Oh yeah, we had
I
Ruben on. Yeah,
I caught a bit of that episode too. I was doing my research.
that was really early days for us.
Yeah, I saw that was like over a year ago. That's 2020, like early 2020. I mean, I obviously love Tom. I think he's a great guitar player, great producer. I mean, he was somebody that Tom Mish.
Oh,
Tom Mish,
yeah. When I was coming up at Berkeley and stuff, he was that dude, like making beats. He was sort of somebody I had always looked to. Yeah, I mean, I would make 1,000 songs with Connor. So I mean, a lot of dope musicians out there though. I've been finding a lot of really cool, specifically London, I guess. But yeah, I'm always open.
London seems like surprisingly small, like close knit.
That's it. Yeah, we've tried to like crack into it ourselves, haven't we? Like, we've noticed this like core clique of like insane.
You don't realize it, do you? Like, it's like, oh shit, he knows him. Oh, I didn't expect that because I was like, yeah,
that's what I mean. I mean, just talking. To, obviously, like, we've been fans of yourself for so long, and then just talking to Connor and doing our research on Connor. Looking at the the tune Moonlight, it's like, shit, man, how does this collaboration happen? It's like, it's a small world.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. Smaller than you think, for sure. As far as our industry too, it's all seems to be very connected.
Yeah, I guess something we can talk about is the last year or so has been really hard, and over in the UK right now, speaking to our recent guests like Connor, and Maya, etc. They're starting to gig again. We're going to a couple gigs in the next few days in London.
Going to see Maya Delilah in a couple days,
she's a great guitarist.
How is
it from how is it where you are? Is everything slowly getting back to normal? Have you managed to gig much at all?
Yeah, I mean, things are coming back slowly but surely. I have not played any shows recently.
Oh, that's a shame.
I mean, just from my perspective, being an independent artist, touring is not a lucrative time right now. But I think especially in New York, there's now the clubs are opening up with the vaccine, proof of vaccination stuff, and so that leads me to believe I'll be playing in at least New York again soon. But yeah, I think right now just not focusing too much on gigging. I have big plans for the new project, whenever that will be. No timeline, but that's sort of my focus right now, and apartment hunting.
Yeah. I don't suppose you can talk about that project just yet.
Nah, it's
Magic
it's
was
still, it's still in its formative stage. But what I can say is that it's different than the other four.
Sick.
I'm very, very excited.
I mean, are you doing anything to try and reinvent yourself, like learn a new instrument or start like listening to like thrash metal?
No, I mean, I think the only real difference in my writing process these days is I'm trying to get a little bit away from the computer, so to speak. I think I write a lot over beats I make, and that sometimes forces me to sort of like work within an 8 or a 16 bar loop. which is sometimes, you can only write so many songs in a loop. So I've just sort of been trying to, sit at an instrument, get a pen and a notebook, just sort of bring it back to basics like I used to write before my producing days.
I mean, what sort of songwriting approach do you take from like a lyrical point? Do you just like sit there and think about a moment in your life, or like some random concept and really make it relatable, I guess?
I'd say, I've written about both of those.
Yeah.
I think as far as something that I learned at Berkeley that they always talk about in songwriting classes was this concept called song seeds. And is basically like taking a word or something that sparked an idea and then like sort of expanding upon that. So I'd say I kind of do that where I'll just whether it be, a line in my head that is honest, like something I'm feeling, or just like some shit that I thought sounded cool.
Yeah.
This is sometimes how it goes. I'll just write something and then, I just sort of have these packed notebook pages of just any lyric off the top. And then eventually it becomes structured. You'll take bits and pieces from the explosion of that page, and sort of hone it together a little bit, make the idea more focused.
Yeah, no, I think that's it's sort of good to know as well. I'm like, I do something similar, which is like, just take a concept or just like a random word and just like really build just everything you can write about some really random thing that you can think of. And and then you're like, oh, actually, I can talk about this like that.
That's
like
my
light switch broke the other day, and I was like, oh, I want to write a song about my light switch and the fact that I haven't fixed it yet. So I'm just sat in the dark, just like, because I can't be asked to fix it. It's still broken, by the way. But I'll do it tomorrow because it's pitch black now, so I can't do it.
That's a sick story.
No, I feel you.
I'll tell you more stories when they like, I don't know.
I think we're all right, bro.
I mean, how my fingers smell like fried chicken right now because I just had some like chicken wings. But
Ooh,
yeah,
I'm jealous.
Yeah,
I gotta
Korean barbecue.
Do you have Wingstop in the US?
No, I think it's a UK thing.
Yeah.
You do?
Oh
shit.
Wingstop?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got Wingstop.
Oh shit.
Sick.
Game change.
That's what you guys are on?
That's what I just had, yeah.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
What flavor did you go for?
I went for spicy Korean barbecue and then hickory smoked barbecue. Have we got different flavors?
Go to Wingstop. I don't know my flavor of choice, but that sounds fire.
Yeah, it's just barbecue. It's gotta be barbecue every time. But I mean, I've been getting criticized a lot from Joe and Sinead, our writer, because I keep talking about food. Every episode I somehow bring up food. I mean, you've been to the UK times, right?
Yeah, a couple times.
What sort of? We can't talk about food.
Yeah, we can do it.
Okay.
Who cares? We're 45 minutes in.
Yeah, that's fine. We've spoken about music. I mean, so which sort of spots have you been to? I'm guessing you've done Nando's and all the usuals.
No. Nando's?
Shit.
Never been there.
Oh shit, Mac. When are you next in the UK? Next one's.
I'll let you know.
Next one's on me.
Oh, I'm in that deal. Yeah, the only thing I can think of that I remember like being a thing in, I think we were in oh my god, it's been so long. I don't know what the towns are called. Something Square in London.
Trafalgar Square. Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So we were staying on some street, and we had played a show the night before, and everybody was like, "You have to try the salt beef bagel."
Oh, okay.
And so that's what we ate. And that was good. I mean, I'm a Long Islander. I fuck with a bagel.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I was into it.
That was literally my diet when I went to New York in like 2019. There was this place called Brooklyn Bagels.
Bagels will get
they're the ones.
A lot of carbs out here in New York.
Yeah, that was my breakfast, lunch, and well, maybe not my dinner, but that was my breakfast and my lunch at the same time. I was like,
they're versatile. They could be every meal of the day.
Yeah. You literally can just switch up the filling, and that's you sorted for the rest of your life. I don't know if they're good for you.
Probably not.
Oh man, it's made me freeze.
I mean, I'm telling you, I'm gonna convert this into like a food podcast, and what we'll do is we'll just sit here with like our guitars or something like that, and we'll just like vamp to like a random progression, and just talk about restaurants and meals, and start like that sounds like a good idea, to be fair.
I'll come back when you guys have that
Yeah,
planned out.
yeah, we've got a
I'd
studio
love
in
to rap
London.
about food.
Well, hopefully they let us do that in the London studio,
Yeah.
but like we'll be like super
It would be,
awkward.
it would be quite awkward, actually.
Yeah, we've never really brought our like guitars in there. I mean,
Yeah,
I
to be
can't
fair,
imagine.
most of the time, we do these shows, and we never really get to talk about like being musicians ourselves, I guess. But that's we try and make that the reason our like unique selling point, really.
Oh yeah,
we do get to talk a bit more nerdy. We
Yeah.
not traditional interviews, I'd say.
No, I don't wanna. I don't really care like how you make a major chord into a minor chord, or what's the difference. Like, what's your favorite key, Mac? Why is it E flat?
Hey,
Is it E flat? Oh shit! If it is,
I feel like on keys, like low key, I'd
it is.
probably play an E flat
Oh shit! That
first.
was a 1 in 12, and I
But
got that.
I do get questions like that. I mean, just like in DMs and shit, like, what's your favorite chord progression? And
Yeah.
I'm just like, I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, how do you find social media in general? Because we spoke to Connor, and Connor smashes social media these days, and we spoke to James Smith. So how do you find the social media grind?
I hate it,
Yeah,
honestly. I think that it's a great, tool. It has helped my career a lot, and that is the reason that I haven't deleted them at that point. At this point, but I think that at least for uh, I'd say for any musician at any level, like it's sort of sometimes toxic to just like be scrolling through and seeing all of the a lot of times on Instagram, at least for me, or whatever you're scrolling through, you see a lot of stuff that you feel like is a part of the music industry, but like not music based at all. And just like seeing shit like that like gets me so sad,
Yeah.
honestly. So I try to not I'm a little bit addicted, I'd say, but I try to not be on my phone just because it's definitely, it gets to you.
I think the ones that triggered me are these ones where these people have like their acoustic guitars like flat down, and they're like playing a song, and they're like pretending to pluck it, and like the note keeps changing even though they're hitting the same strings. And then someone that like does a repeat video where they're like expose them, is just like da, 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 da.
yeah. It's so easy to get the perfect take on social media, isn't it? But like realistically, that's not what it's like.
Oh yeah, and like syncing, like mimicking it, isn't it? When
Yeah.
like, yeah. It's a bit awkward.
Oh yeah, there's, I mean, all that, and just like seeing, anytime there's things pertaining to award shows or
Of course.
I hate award shows with a passion. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the same shit. Like, not to sound like the bitter grandpa, but like, I mean, it's just all so mindless, and like it just feels like a lot of our industry is not based off of the things that I want to be. I want to strive to get better at and stuff. So that gets me down.
It's funny you mention award shows, because it was like the VMAs just the other day, wasn't it? And I was thinking the exact same thing, or maybe very similar thing to what you were just saying, is like with the VMAs and stuff like that, a lot of it is you're going there just to be seen, like as I'm at the VMAs. I'd much rather have like an award show or something, if you are going to have it, like for rising talent, rather than people that are already like they're living a pretty comfortable life, I guess.
Yeah,
that's me being cynical. I'm not gonna lie.
There just needs to be more of a platform. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree, and I think at the end of the day, you got to know what's important to you as a human being, and at least for me, I'm trying to be as best a musician as I can be. Not, I don't care if that entails me having the same amount of fans or less fans, or I think that I enjoy life, and I would just, for myself, like to be the best musician I could be, just for the music, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
music comes
I
first.
think that's really well said.
100%.
That's
I
really-
mean,
That's
you've
quality.
inspired
Yeah.
me, Mac.
Thank you.
That's really cool. I mean, I guess you know what. I guess that's what platforms like Tiny Desk are for, because there isn't really anything
Oh, yeah.
for rising artists, and that show is just that in a nutshell. It's just an
Absolutely.
incredible way to showcase just the sickest talent.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they truly celebrate musicality
100%. Yeah.
in Tiny Desk, which is why they have done so well, in my
Mhm.
opinion. I think they're one of the only major platforms that could say so. So it's cool to see.
Mhm.
Definitely. I mean, we've covered a lot of ground today.
Yeah, it's been an hour.
Yeah, I mean, next time you're in the UK, Mac, I do promise I will get you a Nando's. I won't snake you. I don't like snaky people. But
I'm in.
I mean, are you
I'ma
good at
hold you to-
spicy food?
No, but I'll play ball.
We'll get you like a lemon and herb or something.
For the experience.
Out of pity. Out of pity.
Just
But
just a mild ass meal.
yeah.
Yeah, man.
I mean, what's on the horizons for the rest of this year? So, I mean, you released your album earlier this year, Magic 8 Ball.
Yeah.
You did a song with Conor Albert, Moonlight. What else have we got to look forward to?
As far as this year, I think I'm just sort of figuring out everything for
fair
the
play.
next project.
Yeah.
I wouldn't dare to promise new music this year. I mean, I'm always susceptible to dropping a sneaky single. But as far as my plans, I'm just sort of enjoying life, spending a lot of time with my family, apartment hunting again. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think don't expect much, but I am working diligently on the next project.
Yeah,
That's
man. I mean,
cool.
there's plenty of content to check out. Of course, Magic 8 Ball.
4 albums. If people
Yeah,
haven't, yeah.
obviously incredible stuff. And yeah, thank you
Thank
so much for joining us today, man. Really enjoyed it. It's been a
Appreciate
class one.
it,
It's
guys.
been so sick.
It
Yeah.
was a lot of fun.
I'm just going to talk to. We've got a camera set up behind here as well. So if you like what you listen to, just check out our other episodes. We've of course got Conor Albert, who's worked with Mac, Maya Delilah, Patenape,
Leve.
Moonchild, Leve, Ruben James. Ruben's got clout everywhere, man. He's
Yeah,
sick.
man.
Yeah. But yeah. Hope you enjoyed, and in a bit.
Cheers, bro. That was sick,
Yeah.
man.
Yes, sir. That was a lot of fun.